Welcome back to the show, and we are here at the ICRS, and I have, and she'll tell you, I have a line of people outside that are coming by and checking for interviews. We're running behind. We had someone pop up that we had double scheduled, so I can't turn them away. I had to do them both, so we're doing it. And we have Miss Deborah Coty.
That's correct.
Deborah Coty.
Coty, like the perfume, no relation, no money.
Yeah. And she's written a book that I just love the title. It is Fear, Faith, and a Fistful of Chocolate. Fear, Faith, and a Fistful of Chocolate. And we had you on the radio show.
Yeah.
That was about a month or two, right?
It's awesome.
A couple months back. I told you if you're here at the ICRS to make sure you get a hold of me. And sure enough, she did. And we got her on the slot.
Here I am.
And actually, her publisher sent out a list of people possible to do interviews. I get bombarded with these things. And automatically, I seen her name. I was like, I need the chocolate lady. So to me, you're the chocolate lady.
I love it. I love it.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. A lot of them probably they have heard you on Red Media Network on the radio show, but some of them may have not. And it's Red Media TV, so it's a little bit different. So let us know.
Well, I am actually the chocolate lady. I've written 2 books with chocolate in the title, basically because I'm a choco athlete.
Yes.
Which means I'm the step beyond chocoholic. Means I exercise just so I can eat more chocolate. But this particular book, Fear, Faith, and a Fistful of Chocolate, the chocolate is the element of comfort that we go to when we tend to get anxious. We eat, and sometimes we want those nice comfort foods like chocolate. And that's the point of my book. Is one of the points is that there's something else we can do besides just scarf down that wonderful chocolate.
That's very true.
For the comfort, yeah.
Now, if you've noticed on the desk here, we have several titles. You hold up the other 2, and look at that. So this is a series. Mm-hmm. Tell us what caused you to put this series together.
Well, I travel a lot as a speaker. I usually speak to women's groups, and I enjoy it so much. And during my travels all over the country, I've met women that repeatedly, I keep hearing the same themes, things that we struggle with. And one of those was stress, which became my book, Too Blessed to Be Stressed.
All right.
Another was self-control, and that was More Beauty, Less Beast. And then, of course, fear. Fear's huge for women and for men, too. And that became Fear, Faith, and a Fistful of Chocolate. And in order to write this book, I did a survey of 500 women between the ages of 18 and 80 to find out what were their biggest fears. And it would be interesting I was surprised at the results, but it was. Would you like me to tell you a couple of them?
Please, go ahead.
The top fear was way above all the rest, like head and shoulders, more than double what the second was. And it was loss of a loved one, meaning a spouse, a child, or a parent. And that wasn't just death as a loss. That was the separation of the relationship, meaning it could have been a prodigal child or a marriage that was just on the rocks, that sort of thing. Number 2 biggest fear was debilitating disease or terminal illness.
Ooh, I guess that would be a good fear.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, we're all worried about that big C word, hanging over our heads. Seems like everybody we know is getting cancer these days. And then the third one was fear of failure, which showed up more predominantly in the younger set, the 18 to 30-year-olds.
And, I noticed that too in my kids that when they're even though they're young, they're in their teenage and preteens, and they don't want to try something. If one of the brothers are very successful in something, they do not want to try it because they don't want to fail and be made fun of or feel like they can't accomplish it.
That's so true, and I know I've seen that with my children too. Thankfully, I had a boy and then a girl, so they kind of went into different directions in their interests. But it is hard. My sister was 2 years older than me, and I stayed away from the things she did because you don't want that comparison. And I think that fear is not always bad. The Lord developed fear in us so that it serves a good purpose. I mean, why else would we be so health conscious and go to the doctor and watch our cholesterol if we didn't have a little bit of fear back there motivating us to do what we need to do? But it's when it begins to control us and it begins to become our paradigm and we just kind of look at things through those fearful eyes. That's when it becomes a problem.
Now, wasn't there another fear of spiders?
Yes, that was number 6, I believe, fear of critters.
I remember that. It's like she started telling me this, and I'm cracking up. But she's like, someone must be fearful in your house with spiders. We're on the radio interview. And I go, yeah, and roaches, my wife, and all that. But me, lizards. I just can't handle lizards.
Lizards, don't come to Florida. Oh, my goodness.
I just can't handle lizards. I'm like, I look at them like, I tell my little, he's 12 years old, Matthew. I don't Get it out of here. He's the only one brave enough to pick that thing up and throw it outside.
I have a story in my book about a gal who moved down to Tampa, where I live, from up north, and she was terrified of lizards, terrified. And we have them all over the place in Florida. I mean, you gotta just learn to live with them. And I tell the story about how she lifted that fear up to the Lord, because she became a prisoner in her own home because she was terrified to go outside, because they're everywhere. They scurry about. And so, she had some great ideas and some principles that I use in my chapter on obsessions, getting over obsessing fears, about how to deal with that. And now she walks outside. She doesn't love them. She doesn't want one as a pet, but she can live with them because the Lord helped her, and the steps are really easy to follow.
So what have been some of the testimonies from you going on tour and people reading this, and any of them really?
Yeah, I get wonderful letters from readers about all my books. The ones that are coming in about Fear, Faith, and a Fistful of Chocolate are mostly saying, thank you for these simple how-to little tools that I can take with me and I can use, because some of them seem to me to be common sense because I've been trying to practice them for so long. But and they're just wonderful little tools. Like, for instance, morph worry into prayer, and intentionally put on your, I call it your thanks Spanx, which I'm not sure if you might be acquainted with that.
Spanx,
yes,
okay.
A firm foundation of gratitude.
Lord, we're to pray for her. No.
So, intentional gratitude, and there's just little things that you can do that will help you defeat those fear monsters.
Now tell us how chocolate works into this book. We're talking about fear, we talked about faith, now let's talk about the chocolate.
Well, the chocolate is, like I mentioned, a comfort part.
Okay.
And are you a chocolate guy?
I like chocolate. I have to be a certain type.
I'm past like chocolate. My
wife is like maybe the addicted one. What'd you call it? The
chocoholic.
Chocoholic.
Yes,
that's my
wife. Well, a lot of women tend to do that, and we can overdo that a bit. A few years ago, I did a Debbie Do-Over year where I lost 40 pounds.
Okay.
And part of my problem that I had gained so much weight over the years, it was the trickle effect, just a couple pounds every year for 20 years, and then you're suddenly way overweight. But it was because I was eating for comfort. I was trying to comfort myself, and that's one of the things I talk about, and how to get the comfort from a different place, a different source, Papa God, rather than eating all the time.
Amen. Well, tell everybody about where they can get your books and how they can go in. If you have anything coming up on your schedule that you want them to know, and this will be broadcasting like fallish.
Wonderful. All the books can be found on my website, DeborahCoty.com, spelled Debora without an H, and then Coty like the perfume, but no money, no relation, Coty. And they're also all over Christian bookstores and Amazon. I'm Too Blessed to Be Stressed is having babies now, which I'm excited about. There's a Too Blessed to Be Stressed 2014 planner.
Oh, cool.
Coming out. In fact, it just came out. It should hit bookstores next week.
All right.
And then there's the Too Blessed to Be Stressed, a perpetual calendar coming out in November. And then it's coming out in Spanish. And I can't tell you the Spanish version of it. I'm afraid I don't speak that well.
No, me neither.
But it's coming out in the first of the year. And then there's also a Too Blessed to Be Stressed promise book coming out in spring.
The Spanish market's really good. I had a meeting with Whitaker earlier, and they said that they're just getting titles out because the Spanish market is just really, really strong.
I'm glad to hear that. Yay!
So that'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And you know what? She comes back, so that's good. That's two. That when they come back, we're a family.
That's right.
They visit like when you visit.
I should have brought you some chocolate. What was I thinking?
Yeah. I got chocolate for you if you need some.
Hey, yeah.
But anyway, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back with another great guest.